dugsiga boardingka iyo maalinlaha ah ee Amano Boarding and Day School.
Good morning, grade 3s. Welcome to our English lesson. This is Teacher Belta, and today our topic we are going to do about the grammar. Now, in our subtopic today, we want to learn about comparative and superlative adjectives. What are adjectives? The adjectives are used to tell us more about a noun. You are talking about someone or something, so you have to explain more about that thing using another word. So that's the word we use is the adjective to tell us more about this person or this thing. Now, let's look at this picture here. I have a cup of tea, which is hot. I have fire, which is hotter. Then I have the sun, which is the hottest. I have the black cat. The black cat is fat, but the middle one is fatter. Then the last one is the fattest. Now, here we are trying to compare these things. We are trying to compare the fire and the cup of tea. Both of them are hot, but how are they hot? Now, we have comparative adjectives, and this one we compare two things. So, comparative adjectives are used to compare one person or one thing with another. Now, to form a comparative adjective, we use ER. We use ER with adjectives with one syllable. So, for you to have a comparative adjective, you have to use ER with the syllables with the adjectives with one syllables. For example, I have hot, hotter. Now, like the way you are doing with the cup of tea and the fire. The cup of tea is hot, but the fire is hotter. Now we are comparing these two things. We are comparing the tea and the fire. So we say the fire is hotter than the tea. How have we come up with the comparative adjective? This is the comparative adjective we are using, hotter. This is the comparative adjective. This is the adjective hot. Then the comparative adjective there is hotter. We have another adjective that is big. Then we have comparative adjective bigger. Then we can say Hussein is bigger than Ahmed. You are comparing the two people. You are comparing Hussein and you are comparing Ahmed. So Hussein is bigger than Ahmed. We have another adjective. We have adjective cold. Then you say the comparative adjective there is colder. So we can say today is colder than yesterday. If you compare the way the weather is today and the way the weather was the way the weather is today and the way the weather was yesterday, you find out today is very cold than yesterday. So we have another one, long, and comparative adjective we have longer. Then we say January is longer than February. The month of January is very long than February. February is very short. So this is how we form them. We are using here. Here we have only one syllable. If you check, it's only one. But we have other words which end with that end with letter E, like the word nice. They are ending with letter A. So what do? We only had R for you to form the comparative adjective. We only had R. We also have other words that have more syllables, like the word careful. The word careful has more syllables. So what do? We use the word more careful. More careful to form the comparative adjective. Now, let's look at superlative adjectives. And you say superlative adjectives are used to compare. Now you are comparing one thing with so many things. You are comparing one person or one thing with so many different things. Now, to form a superlative adjective, we have to use ER. We use ER. We use EST for superlative adjective. So to form superlative adjective, we use EST with adjectives of one syllable. For example, I have the adjective hot. That is the adjective hot. Now, for us to form the superlative, we have to add EST. So it's hot, then the superlative is hottest. The sun is hottest than the fire and the cup of tea. So the sun is the hottest. We have number 2. This is the biggest building in town. Maybe now you go to town, you look around there and you find there is only one building which is bigger than all the rest. So you say this is the biggest building in town. So the adjective there is big. The adjective is big. So for you to form the superlative, you have to add EST. Number 3, I have the longest skipping rope. I have if you are playing with your friends and everyone has the skipping rope. If you check around, you find that yours is the longest. So you will say, I have the longest skipping rope, comparing with other kids you're playing with. So this is how we form a superlative adjective, by adding EST. It also applies with the words that have more syllables. We have to use the word most. Like the word careful, you use the word most careful. Let's look at the example here. I have these 3 balls. I have the first one which is big. Then the next one is bigger. Now if I compare the second and the first, I found out the second is bigger than the first one. Then I have the third one. Now this third one, I try to compare it with the first and the second. I found out the third one is the biggest. So I'll say the last ball is the biggest if you compare with these two. I have also 3 pencils here. I have pencil 1, I have pencil 2, and I have the third one. Now let's look at the size of the first one. The first one is long. Then compare the first and the second. You find that the second is longer than the first. Then now there comes the third one. So we say the third pencil is longer than the longest compared to the second and to the first. So the third pencil is the longest. Let's remind ourselves by doing this exercise together. We want to now do this one. And remember, we have said comparative adjectives are used to compare two things. Now you want to compare two things, you have to use the comparative adjective. Now if you're comparing one person or one thing with so many things, we have to use superlative adjectives. And remember, we have said we form the superlative by using EST, and we form comparative adjectives by adding ER. Now we have question number 1. Who is the dash woman on earth? And the adjective we are given there is rich. We have the adjective rich. So what will be our answer there? It will be, oh, now we are comparing one woman on the whole world. Who is the richest? So we say, who is the richest? Who is the richest woman on earth? Now you have to go around and you check who is the richest. So number 2, we have an elephant is dash. The adjective we are given is heavy than a fly. So what are we going to say? We say, children, an elephant is heavier an elephant is heavier than a fly. If you check an elephant and you check a fly, which one is heavy? An elephant is heavy. Number 3, we have Ali is dash. The adjective you're given is strong, so Ali is dash than his friend. So what are we going to say? We say, now we are comparing two people. We are comparing Ali and his friend. So we say Ali is stronger. Ali is stronger than his friend. Number 4, that is the dash river around. Now around, now here you are looking around. You are not only comparing two things, but now you have to check around many things. So that is the longest. That is the longest river on earth. Children, can you try to make more sentences using comparative and superlative at home? Thank you. That is the end of our lesson. Until next time.